Mr. President, what are the main purposes of your visit to Japan at this time?
I think threefold. One, to attend the UN conference on disaster mitigation, and to not just participate in the conference, but to see how we can work with other countries around the world to see how we can mitigate some of these disasters that are caused especially as a result of climate change. You know, in Kenya we are constantly either having droughts or floods, and I think there is a greater understanding now that we must be better prepared going into the future, and what mechanisms can we put in place to be better prepared to handle some of these issues if and when they happen. So that was one area, and I think we got a lot of commitments made, especially by the government of Japan, to help support us and other countries. Because as you know, Japan has some very good mitigation measures in place. They're a country that has also suffered greatly from natural disasters, and they have very good mechanisms in place. So this is an area where we are trying to learn as we're setting up our own mechanisms at home, and how we can cooperate and partner with Japan in that towards that end. We have also had fruitful discussions with them in matters pertaining to our bilateral engagement. They have pledged, as I'm sure you're already aware, some $38 million to help us set up our universal healthcare facility, and this is something that you know we're very keen on. As you've been hearing me telling people, we ultimately want to go there. That's why we are trying to recruit as many people as we can onto NHIF, and Japan has pledged to support us in that particular program. We also discussed issues of how we can work together with them to exploit our blue economy. You know, as I was saying a couple of weeks ago, Kenyan territory in the sea is equivalent to almost 3/4 of Kenya's economy on the land. And this is an area where Japan has been very successful, and an area where my government is very keen to upscale our investment and exploration into the economic opportunity that exists, you know, in the sea. Our fishing, deep sea exploration, and so on and so forth. And this is another area where, again, we centered a lot of discussion on. Also, you know, they have been supporting us in our energy programs. I think we have commitment that they will work together with us to upscale the Olkaria project by another 70 megawatts. We're also working with them to further develop a further 280 megawatts on a public-private partnership basis. We're also talking to them, as you know, we're working with them to develop berth number 20, currently ongoing in Mombasa. But we also are working to see how we can fast-track berth number 21 and 22, because ultimately, you know, we want to ensure that we develop Mombasa in the shortest possible time to be the premier seaport of the East and Central African region. And this is another area where we had detailed discussion with them going forward. So this, amongst many other areas, as well as discussions with their business forum about potential investment into Kenya in the agricultural sector, manufacturing sectors, oil and gas, pipeline. We have had a good number of discussions also with JICA and other private sector players in Japan to see how we can partner together in those areas. So hiyo ni chache ya yale ambayo tumeweza kufanya.
Mr. President, many Japanese companies desire to invest in Kenya and expand their businesses. However, they are also concerned about the security risk, especially the threat of Al-Shabaab.
This is what we're trying to explain. Indeed, we do have a threat of Al-Shabaab, and we are not denying that we have that threat. And this is a threat occasioned by the fact of the neighborhood that we live in. We are explaining what we are trying to do. We are the upscaling in terms of security that we are doing And they appreciate and also understand this. But we have said that the true way to fight this fight is for the international community to actually come together, because Kenya is not the only country that is under threat. You have Uganda, you have Nigeria now, you have Libya, you have Syria, you have attacks in France. So we just need to all collaborate and to partner together to root this evil, from our midst. So we have told them what we are doing. They have also equally pledged to support and to work with us, in fighting this menace as we go forward. So really, we just all, and this is the message I keep saying to Kenyans, we must all come together, to see how we can truly eliminate this. Government will continue and continuously do its part. We are foiling incidences every other day. Some of them, they've managed to succeed, like they did in Mandera. But we are doing everything that we can to ensure that our country and our citizens are protected from this threat. We are increasing our investment in the area, increasing surveillance, increasing intelligence gathering to help us forestall future attacks. And this, I think, is an area that they also appreciate, that this is not a Kenyan phenomenon. It's a worldwide phenomenon that is hitting people across the globe. And we just need to really pool and focus our resources to be able to deal with this threat ultimately, in order to be able to build and to have secure and safe environments for people to do business and to prosper.
Kenya desires to become a middle-income country by 2030. How can you achieve this target?
I think we are on course and on track, because the way to achieve it is by being clear and focused, creating first and foremost the necessary infrastructural framework that you need, ensuring that you have the right business environment, ensuring that you have adequate energy, ensuring that you have trained manpower, but also working to ensure that you incorporate the majority of your population into this particular program. This is why we are very keen, for example, on this issue of education and providing power to our schools. Because we know if we provide that power is not just going to the schools, it's also going to go to the surrounding neighborhoods. So we're involving more people in the developmental agenda. This is why we're keen on our roads program and expanding our infrastructure so that we simplify the ability of our farmers to bring their produce to market and improve the cold chain, so that we are able to preserve and protect our produce much better. This is why we are keen on this issue of universal health, to ensure that people have access to universal health. This is why we are keen on our energy projects, to ensure that we are able to give Kenyans reliable and affordable energy. This is why we are keen on our slum upgrade programs, so that we are ensure that Nairobi doesn't belong just to a few elites, but every resident of Nairobi should feel that they are part and parcel of that society, and that society cannot grow unless those who are at the lowest level are also helped to come up to a level where they have got and making sustainable livelihoods. So this informs a number of the programs that we have, and I believe strongly that so long as we remain focused, so long as we remain key on note, so long as we are not distracted by useless politics, I am strongly of the opinion that if we maintain, our focus, we can achieve our middle income status, not even by 2030, much sooner than that. And this really is my focus and the focus of my government. This is why we keep saying we must root out this ill of corruption, because these are things and problems that drag us back, and that deny us resources that should be going to productive sectors. And you will see shortly what actions we are going to begin taking against those who engage in these kind of activities, because it's these kind of things, empty rhetoric, corruption, and things like that, that detract us from the focus that we need to have in order for us to be a middle-income country in the shortest possible time.
Mr. President, Kenya, African Union, and the Japanese government continue to talk about holding TCAD in Africa in 2016. Can you manage to hold these in Kenya?
Well, I strongly believe so. We have the capacity to do so. We have the ability to do so. We have the facilities to be able to do so. All we need is just to get understanding from the other African countries and to see if we can get agreement for them to support Kenya's bid to hold this conference. And I think it would be fantastic were we able to succeed in hosting this, because it would give us an opportunity to showcase to the Japanese people, to Japanese business, to Japanese industry, to potential Japanese tourists, the potential that exists not just in Kenya but on the African continent. So for us it's a very important thing, and I am really hoping that we will be able to get the necessary support from the African Union and other African countries so that Kenya can succeed in holding this very first TCAD to be held on the African continent.
What does Kenya intend to do to bridge the trade imbalance which is currently in favor of Japan?
Well, this is again another area that we were talking about, how we can get direct flights coming into Japan. This will help us improve the number of tourists coming from Japan to Kenya, but it will also help improve the flow of goods such as our flowers, which are becoming very popular here in Japan. Boost our flower exports, our other horticultural exports, our nuts and other issues that we export into Kenya. But I also believe what we are also trying to do is to encourage additional investment that can allow us to begin manufacturing also in Kenya, to service the region and to also service other parts of the world. And I think this, a mixture of this would go a long way towards helping us begin to get some balance in terms of our trade levels, which, as you have correctly stated, are currently very, very strongly in favor right now of Japan. But I believe some of these initiatives that we're taking are all aimed to see how we can improve that balance of trade to be much better or more in favor of Kenya than it currently is.
As we come to the end of this interview, Mr. President, having attended the 3rd UN World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in Sendai, what lessons could Kenya learn from Japan in managing natural calamities?
I think one is their early warning systems. 2 is the ability to integrate their various departments, to be able to have a unified single response. 3 is the level of training that they have. What we found most amazing, you have children, even at kindergarten level, taught very early and having regular training sessions. What do you do when you hear the alarm? You first move to higher ground. You don't start, all these are different things that, so the training, the education, the unified command structures that they have, these are some of the lessons that I think Kenya can pick up. The early warning systems, can pick on, to help us also equally be better prepared to face some of these recurrent disasters that face us from time to time. Because I think, even as we clearly stated at the conference, we are all, with the issues of climate change that are going on today, we have moved from asking the question, if, will it happen? Right? That question has been answered. It will happen. So the issue is, how prepared are we to face up to it when it does? Because it's not if, it will happen. So we just need to know, how prepared are we to deal with that particular problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.